Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get started on a presentation, I'd quickly like to introduce myself and my teammates. I'm Arnav Khandelwal. This is Utkarsh. This is Abhyudit. This is Muskan. This is Ishit. And finally, this is Navya. We all are from New Delhi, India, and we are Group 29. Okay, so now let's get started with our presentation. Welcome to Prasinara, where we try to bring heaven on earth. Prasinara literally translates to greenery in Greek. So there you have the origin of our name. So I will be starting by answering the most important question in everyone's mind. Why this city? What makes this city different from others? Why must people choose this city above others? So the main thing we kept in mind while planning this city was to make a greener city that uses methods of sustainability in everyday life, while everyone lives their life to the fullest and can enjoy all the luxuries simultaneously. This city is best for people who have always dreamt of becoming one with nature, but haven't been able to, due to the fact that the existence of nature and luxury together is a combo that is rarely found. But here at Prasinara, we have tried to create a perfect combination of nature with all the luxury anyone could ever ask for. Preserving the resources of nature and maintaining the greenery of the city while taking care of the happiness of the people is the greatest priority of the city. The structure of the city is going to be such that the city would be directly connected to the main highways of the country while connecting to other neighboring cities through other domestic roads. The city would be divided into various sectors, and each sector would be developed in such a way that almost everything is available within walking distance for all. The children of today are gearing up to become adult citizens of tomorrow. A school must stimulate curiosity in the young, impressionable minds and equip them with tools to be better human beings. Therefore, here at Prasinara, education would be taken very seriously. The priority at Prasinara would be to make students independent, confident, and rational human beings. Education at Prasinara would not only be theoretical but also practical to promote the wholesome development of children. The roots of the education system of Prasinara are influenced by the United States of America and Finland. Physical education would be a compulsory part of the school curriculum for every grade so that children would be fit and healthy and ready to serve when they graduate school instead of being obese and unhealthy. Teaching is one of the most important professions in the world, as teachers are the ones creating great people, be it an engineer, an athlete, a doctor, or a lawyer. Hence, teaching would be one of the highest paid professions in Prasinara. Teachers are given utmost respect, and any misbehavior against teachers by anyone won't be tolerated in Prasinara. Next, we come to community behavior changes. Everyone in this world knows that it is not just the responsibility of the government to rule the whole city. So at Prasinara, a lot of focus will be given towards community behavior changes. Things like using the three-bin system, converting organic waste to compost, and replacing high-voltage electric bulbs by LEDs, along with the use of cycles instead of cars and buses for short travels would be promoted. Now let's talk about something which is a really important aspect without which a city cannot function. It's governance. Good governance means that processes and institutions produce results that meet the needs of society while making the best use of resources at their disposal. So here at Prasinara, elections will be held once every 3 years to elect one main mayor and ministers for other important tasks in the city. The people will be the most important part of the city, and thus there will be zero tolerance with anyone who misbehaves with any citizen of the city. Strict actions will be taken against the person misbehaving, regardless of the person's position, gender, community, or race. Harming nature in any way would also be a criminal offense and could result in immediate imprisonment. The judiciary of the city would work independently, and no one would have the power to judge the judgment of the judiciary, not even the mayor. The judiciary would constitute of a judge and a jury made of 12 common civilians to ensure that the perfect verdict is given. Finally, the city will be financed by a regular flow of monthly taxes put on goods and services. Next, we come to the topic of maintenance of greenery. Greenery is one of the main pillars of the city, so naturally, there are several initiatives prepared to conserve the greenery of the city. For example, environmentally friendly concrete. In today's world, the cement industry releases a lot of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Every 1,000 kilograms of cement used results in 900 kilograms of CO2 released. By substituting some of the cement in concrete mix by products like fly ash, the carbon footprint is reduced by a great margin of 25%. The fly ash makes the concrete tough while giving it a distinct texture. Plus, using fly ash for concrete mix prevents it from being thrown in landfills and reduces land pollution. Another major initiative taken would be the Compensatory Act for Forests. In this, every time forest land is diverted for non-forest purposes, such as mining or industry, the user agent will have to plant twice as much as the forest area cleared in some other land, or will have to give a fixed sum of money to the government. Other initiatives planned to conserve the greenery of the city include seed balls, manual mowing of private gardens, and use of biofertilizers and biopesticides, and others. Water is essential for the survival of a human being, so a city needs to have a well-organized drinking water management system. So Prasinada will use an expedient way for water desalination through the use of nuclear energy. Nuclear desalination uses the excess heat produced from a nuclear reaction to evaporate seawater, which is later condensed into fresh water, which is suitable for human consumption. This method is the most optimal method of water desalination for many reasons. The first and probably the most important reason is that it is completely eco-friendly and does not contribute to global warming at all, as the method for production of heat does not produce carbon dioxide. This method is also the most efficient method for water desalination. Other methods of water desalination cause loss of water and take up a lot of energy. Now let's move on to energy generation. Prasinada will have energy generation factories on the outskirts of the city. This area will serve as the powerhouse of the city, as all the energy requirements of the city would be fulfilled by this area alone. This area is divided into various sectors that tackle different energy requirements of the city. Now, I'm not going to talk about these sectors in detail, but instead will give a summary of it. So if you want a detailed explanation of these sectors, you can visit our website, whose link will be given by me at the end of the presentation. You will find a detailed explanation of each of these topics along with related articles, videos, and sources of information. So the first sector is Hydromotive Production sector. This is the area where most of the city's hydrogen-based energy will be produced. This industrial area will have a large power plant in which the chemical energy of hydrogen would be converted into mechanical energy by burning hydrogen in an internal combustion engine. The input energy for hydrogen-based energy would be produced by a system of large windmills and by cold plasma pyrolysis, also known as CPP. The second sector is that of nuclear energy generation. Nuclear energy generation sector will produce the energy required for various activities like research activities using nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Nuclear energy facilities would provide a large amount of energy that can then be used to desalinate water to provide fresh drinking water. The third sector is the Maglev Production sector. So understandable by its name, this is the area where the Maglev trains are manufactured and the components of the trains are also manufactured. So nothing much to talk about that. Moving on. The fourth sector is the biomass management sector. This sector will produce the majority of the energy required for the city. The energy produced by the sector will be used in powering the industries, factories, buildings that are not green buildings, and for many other purposes. Now I would like to talk about the plastic utilization of the city. Plastics have become an inevitable part of our lives. We cannot completely cut down plastic production. Thus, to tackle this problem, Prasinara will adopt the technique of cold plasma pyrolysis. This process breaks down plastic molecules and produces hydrogen carbons such as methane, etc., along with the evolution of hydrogen gas, which can then be used in cars powered by hydrogen fuel cells. Now, even after having an organized and clean energy generation system, the city will be issuing guidelines for industries to decrease the overall waste produced altogether, saving time, money, power, and above all, a lot of manpower. Some of the guidelines are going to be: industries are supposed to use HFCs, hydrofluorocarbons, instead of CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, and HCFCs, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, to protect the ozone layer. All factories are going to be encouraged to increase the productive use of natural resources and minimize the generation of waste and emissions. Factories are also prohibited from releasing persistent organic pollutants, also known as POPs. A wise man once said, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." Keeping this thought in mind, we planned an extremely effective waste management system to help save our planet by reducing the pollution caused by releasing untreated, excessive waste into rivers in an unplanned manner. Prasinara waste management system would be divided into four divisions, namely agricultural waste sector, wastewater sector, non-recyclable waste sector, and recyclable waste sector. Other than these four major sectors, Prasinara focuses on other ways to efficiently dispose of waste, like ocean fertilization, in which iron fillings and other nutrients are dumped into the seawater to stimulate phytoplankton growth. This is done in a controlled manner to prevent eutrophication. In this time of increasing global warming, we have worked out a great plan to decrease the overall temperature of the city. So before I start telling about these plans, you should know that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases are the main elements that result in heating the cities. Controlled use of carbon dioxide will therefore result in the management of temperature in the city. So we will implement the concept of artificial trees in industrial areas of the city. An artificial tree will passively soak up carbon dioxide from the air using artificial leaves that are 1,000 times more efficient than true leaves that use photosynthesis. Another way is through the construction of green buildings. A green building looks like this. It efficiently uses energy, water, and other resources. Other resources. It uses renewable energy such as solar energy, hence decreasing the use of electric power, which finally leads to a decrease in temperature by reducing the amount of CO2 released in the generation of electricity. Next, we come to transportation. So there are four main modes of transportation in Prasinara, namely public transport, Maglev Transport, vehicles, and airways. First is public transport. Proper public transport is important for every city's development. People are going to be encouraged to use Maglev trains and buses instead of using their own means of transport when they are going to their offices or other destinations. Second is the Maglev transportation. The city will be equipped with a system of Maglev trains that are very swift and efficient when it comes to short distances as well as long distance travels. These Maglev trains use the concept of the Meissner effect, which causes levitation. Maglev trains can achieve a maximum velocity of 600 km per hour or 375 miles per hour. These trains save a lot of time and cause zero carbon emission. Third is personal vehicles. Prasinara is going to promote the use of hydrogen vehicles, which ensure zero carbon emission. The fuel cell of the car generates electricity by converting the chemical energy obtained from the oxidation reduction reaction of hydrogen with oxygen. Fourth is airways. Prasinara will have two-part airports, a domestic airport and an international airport. Most of the trade in Prasinara will happen through airways. Not much to talk about here, so moving on. Another important feature in the transportation section that I want to talk about is the use of elevated ambulances, which look like this. In today's times, many ambulances often get stuck in traffic. So to ensure that everyone gets instant ambulance services, the city will be laid with binary electric lines. On these lines will run these elevated ambulances. These can be very crucial in life-death situations. And finally, we come to the last topic, steps to ensure low air pollution levels. So the city will provide as much public transport as it can to ensure reduce in pollution caused by transport which are powered by fossil fuels. Another major way to reduce air pollution will be through making changes in the way the industry removes their waste. These changes will be removing pollutants from the exhaust streams of power plants and industrial plants before they enter the atmosphere, filtering out particulates and breaking down sulfur and nitric oxides by catalysts. Removing these oxides reduces the pollutants that cause acid rain. By this, I come to the end of my presentation. Now, before I conclude, I want to thank my team, Group 29, for helping me throughout the course, the GRUEN team for providing me such a great opportunity, and also special thanks to Mr. Brand for helping me in understanding the real concept of sustainability and helping me throughout the course and being such a nice person. Couldn't have done this without you guys. Thank you everyone. Have a great day ahead.